Hey, this is a video I'm going to do about the Diode Dynamic Smart Tap. It's kind of a demo slash review. I put this in maybe a couple years ago. Can't remember exactly again. Some of you may have heard of this, and it's available for a variety of other cars. What it does is that it replaces your stock flasher relay that's in your vehicle, and where that is depends on your vehicle, which we'll get to the LS part in a little bit. But what it allows you to do is some kind of customizations on your flasher. So typically when you hit the hazards, you just have, the regular flasher on and off, on and off. This, they're calling it a smart flasher, which gives you some options. If you read down in here, it has the tap to signal, which means that if you're wanting to go turn on your turn signal left or right, typically you push it up and it clicks until you remember, hopefully, to turn it off. What the tap to signal is that if you just bump the turn signal lever without actually locking it in, so just kind of bump it up or down, whatever, it'll flash a few times. So by default it flashes, I believe, like 4 times. So you just barely tap it and then it'll flash 4 times and then turn off. That is customizable. You can make it flash less or more. I believe it's up to 8 or 9 flashes, but 4 is usually about right. That's like if you're doing a quick lane change and you just want to give your signal, you tap it and move over, and then it'll shut itself off. So I'll demo that in the vehicle on the rest of the video. Then it has the unique hazard functions, which instead of just a normal on and off, it can kind of do a kind of a strobe effect, left and right. It can do a fast strobe, a slow strobe, which looks kind of cool on certain vehicles. You have the arrival departure modes, which basically just means that whenever you use the key fob and you're unlocking, locking the button, it turns on the hazard, the parking lights and all that for a set amount of time. So if you're walking up to your vehicle and you hit it, it'll light up those lights and stay lit until you get in and start. And when you're locking it, it'll stay lit for I think it's about 20 seconds, I believe, which again, that's something you can customize in the settings of the flasher. So like I said, it kind of depends on what vehicle you have. So if you choose an option, it only gives you one. They're $60 for the LS. Fits the 2007 to 2012, and I think there's another one for the later models and such and such. Otherwise, you can do the vehicle finder and then find your vehicle, so they get just a specific one. Putting it in an LS is a little, I'm not saying tricky, but just a little bit more cumbersome, because in the LS460, the flasher relay is behind the instrument cluster. So most vehicles, you look up under the dash and it's hanging up underneath there. You can reach it and get it in and out. Maybe you had to remove one panel under the dash and you get it. So for the 460, and I've got some photos. When I did this, I didn't video. This is before I was doing any videos. But I got some pictures that kind of show you the actual relay that's in the dash. You take the surround off the cluster. You just kind of pry around the edges and pull it out. Be gentle with it, just because you don't want to break that bezel, and also you don't want to gouge up your dash pad around the cluster bezel. But it comes out. It's just more or less kind of friction, a couple clips. It comes out pretty easy, so that's not a big deal. Just don't be rough on it. Then you have the screws that hold the cluster in, which again, easy to get to. Just don't drop it behind the dash. Use a magnetic screwdriver or a socket, whichever. Then you have the normal little plug-ins behind the dash. Again, not super hard, but when you get it out of there, then you will see the little blue flasher relay that's behind it. So it's kind of wedged in there. You can see it. If you got big fingers, you might be in trouble. If you got smaller fingers, and you can probably grab it. But it's held in to, there's a plug that the flash relay slides onto, and that plug slides into a hole in the frame. So that's the tricky part, you know. And some vehicles, you got an angle where you can slide a screwdriver in and release that clip and pull the flasher free and then unhook it from the wiring. But you really can't do it on the LS. You just kind of got to get something in between that plastic plug and the frame and just pop it out. So if you use one of those tools that has the little fork on the end, you know, it's for the little plastic rivet to pop them out. Just kind of work on it like that, and then once you get it free, you're still kind of a little bit of a strain, because the wiring harness to the back of the clip is real short. So you can reach it out a little bit, maybe 2 inches, 3 inches, and then you just kind of got to release that clip and pull it out. So it can be done. It's a little more fiddly. Anyway, so then installation is the same thing. Just stick it in there and pop it back in, put the cluster back, and then you go into learning how to program it. So this is the instructions that they give you. Programming is just dependent on what you're trying to do, to tap, to turn. On this section here, the strobe hazards, this section here, and then the unique functions. The slow-mo, they call it the wigwag. It's just basically alternating left and right. You can be a slow one, it can be a fast one. And then you have the arrival departure lighting for that. Now they do tell you somewhere, if you look at their website, that some features may not work with all vehicles. And that's where you get into it with the LS. I couldn't get the wigwag to work, the slow, fast, whatever, right, left. The strobe hazards work. Of course, the tap to signal works, and the arrival departure lighting, but the wigwag does not work. I wrote the company about it when I did it, and I told them, and they just said, well, yes, that not all features work with all vehicles. So you really don't know, and they really don't tell you, because I don't think they know themselves what does and doesn't work. But he did mention that the Toyota products tend to be the most troublesome for their flasher relay. So I've seen other videos with people putting these in and showing how it all works, and it looks great. But I noticed that the majority of those videos are all on Subarus. So obviously Subaru works. If you look up this item on YouTube again, and you'll see the ones that are doing it. It's a Subaru of some sort, but you get the idea of what the flasher is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to look. But I'll show you on the LS how it looks on mine, just so you can kind of get a comparison. But I could not get the wigwag to work. Like I said, just kind of reading through here, it's pretty easy to follow along how it tells you to either turn the vehicle ignition on or the hazard button on, moving the stock for the turn signal when you need to. The arrival departure has you do using your remote to do the settings, because you center the stock, switch hazards off, switch ignition off, move the stock to the right position to increase, or into the left position to decrease the time. So and you press the unlock button on your remote. This will change the setting by 10 seconds. So right now I think it's set at 20 seconds. So if you wanted to add 10 seconds, you do what it says, and it'll go up to 30 seconds. But 20 seconds is long enough. Sometimes I think that they're not going to shut off when I'm walking away from it, because it just seems like it's a long 20 seconds. But it does do 20 seconds. And then tells you how to reset everything. So if you want to go back to the factory and or just to normal settings. Let's see, and it tells you to disconnect and reconnect your battery, confirm the original turn signal bulbs are functioning. So it's got a 3-year warranty. When I wrote them, they offered me a refund, and I said no, because it was I didn't want to go through having to remove it and put the other one back, the OEM one back in. So I just let it go, and it does work to a degree. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of go over this. I'll show you on the next section here with how it looks on the vehicle, just to give you an idea. So we'll go with that next, and be right back. All right. These are the photos I took when I did the install. So right here, the blue box there is the flasher relay that's sitting behind the instrument cluster. So I just kind of got a close-up shot of that. So this is what you're trying to reach down into. So this is, if you're looking at your instrument cluster, this is the bottom ledge of it, I guess you want to call it, before the bezel fits in and then the cluster's there. So when you pull the cluster out and unhook the wiring harnesses from it, that's what you're after. So like I said, you have to reach in between the frame and the unit. There's a little plastic, I don't know what you call it, little plastic plug clip or something. I can't remember what they call those things, but and if you were trying to release the flasher relay from the clip, that part is actually on the back side of it, so you can't even get to it. So you got to get something between there. There's those little panel remover tools with the little fork on the end, the little notches in there. We'll get in there. You just got to work it in, and eventually you'll get that pin, plastic pin connector to pop out. So once you get it out, then this is what you got. So this part is up against the frame, which is behind this, because this wiring harness here is actually in your way as well. So this you can kind of bump around and move, but once you kind of get it free, then that wiring harness is, comes out that far. So once you kind of pull this wiring out, so you can get it past this big harness roll here, then that's what you got to do. So the trick is getting this off of that. Like I said, there's a little release clip right in here, but you can't get to it when it's inside the vehicle because it's facing down. So you got to pop this out. The little pin connectors, got to come press them in, to type, and then you can pop it out. So that's what you got there. So once you remove it from the wiring harness, this is what you got again. So this part you need to take off so that you can put it on the new one. So this is the OEM one again. This is just so you can see the back of it. But you slide a little screwdriver in there, and then actually from the other side, and you can pull that out. So this is just it, with it being attached to the wiring harness as you're trying to push it back in. I don't think I took a picture of it again with it in place, but if you saw what the first picture looked like, that's basically it. Except the blue one, you've got the brown one, and then you can just pop it back into that little hole in the frame. So this is the unit before I took it out of the package, so in case you needed to see that again. But so those are the photos. Like I said, once you get it out of there, how it looks in the LS once you get the dash cluster out. So next we'll do the move on to the video of the vehicle, and then that'll wrap it up. Okay, here we are in the vehicle. So if you hit the flasher, you can see how the two lights there, when the strobe is on, how it flashes, you know, on and off real quick. So I've got the view from the front on the other camera. So that's what you got there. So turn that off. Go ahead and start that up. 39 degrees here in the garage. 39 degrees here in the garage. It's about 10 degrees outside. So on the tap to turn, when you hit your stock, normally if you bump it up, it's just going to flash like normal until you turn it off. But if you just bump it, it'll flash. I don't know if that was 4 or 5 times. Look at it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So it'll flash 4 times and then shut off. So that's the tap to turn. So you just kind of click it so it doesn't lock into position. And there you go. So that's the tap to turn. I'm not going to go through how to program it, and you can read all that. And like I said, I can never get the wigwag to work. So that's where we're at with that. I'm going to go ahead and put the flashers back on and step out the vehicle here. So if you can kind of see how it flashes on and off like that. You can see the side mirror flash. And then looking at the front. So I'm going to turn the headlights off. So that's how it looks when it's on the strobe. The wigwag would just alternate left, right, either a fast back and forth or a slow. Like I said, that never worked. You can see my LED strips are flashing with it. As soon as it gets warmer, I'm going to redo the LED strips. I got some of the lights are burning out, so which I figured might happen since it's kind of a tight squeeze and it's probably putting too much pressure on it. But that is the Diode Dynamics flasher and how it looks on the LS. So, and depending on if you really want to go through the trouble of getting yours out of the dash, and $60, there you go. But last thing I want to show you was the arrival departure deal. So if you lock the vehicle, so all that just stays on for 20 seconds and then it'll turn off. So the arrival departure lights, that's what it means. It's just those will stay on for 20 seconds. And there they go. Anyway, just kind of want to give you a look at what was going on there. And if you have any questions about that product, let me know, or you can go to their website and look at it again, or search YouTube for more videos. Anyway, thanks a lot. See you in the next one.